Success and equity. You'll find them at BC. Success is what you want. Equity is when we give you the tools and help to get that success. It doesn't matter who you were before. We're here to level the playing field and create a fair world where you can succeed no matter who you are, what you look like, or where you were before. We'll tell you how on BCTV.
And now your host, Francis Mayer.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Francis Mayer, and this is Success and Equity on BCTV. We share stories of success, tips, and other tricks to get you into a life better than the one that you currently have through education. Almost everybody who gets an education, I've never heard anyone say, I wasted a lot of money on my education. Education is priceless. It can never be taken away, and it can open an entire new life for you. This morning, we have Captain Clark Morton, United States Army, on the show. And I promised you I wasn't going to quiz you on things you don't know about, but you definitely know yourself. And it was funny because you said that you don't often pause and think about how much you've accomplished. When you were in high school, junior year, did you have any idea that people would be saluting you?
No, I had no clue, and I think also, too, because I grew up in New York, so I didn't see a lot of military personnel. So going into ROTC, joining the military, it was never even like an option the way it is after I went to school in the South.
Okay, so what did you think adulthood would be? Was it just kind of a void for you?
No, it was just you go ahead, you go to college, you get your degree. I always wanted to be a lawyer, so I was going to just go ahead, get my 4-year degree in criminal justice or political science, and then go straight into law school, get student loans or scholarships, and then just kind of work what you've seen everyone doing. And I think for me also, not only am I from New York, but I'm also an immigrant. I was born in Barbados. So
wow.
My family migrated here. So it was just trying to be successful and make a better life for your family that migrated here.
How old were you when you immigrated to the United States?
I was 4 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And so did either of your parents go to college?
No, my parents didn't. I was the first to graduate. I do have an older brother who did not go to college, so I was the first to graduate, and then I also ended up being the first in the military. So.
And what did your parents do for a living?
My mom is a nurse, and my dad, he's an electrician.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So going back to high school, it's a huge decision point for a lot of people. What flipped the switch and pointed you towards ROTC? So
what I'll tell you is I did go to Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. And while I was down there, I would see all these kids in their uniform walking around. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, that is so cool.
Because time out just for a second. Look at this. This is snappy. This is a great uniform. I mean, it not only is it something that represents so much, it's definitely a symbol of enduring freedom in the United States, but hey, it's snazzy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I was down there, I would see them always walking on, we call it the yard. And I'm like, man, I want to do that. So I go to the ROTC building and I decide, I'm physically fit. I'm a tennis player. I can do all this stuff.
Did you play tennis in high school?
High school, college, and junior high school, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, okay, I can join this, and then I start doing the program. So I did MS1 and MS2 year. I had already taken.
And that's military science.
Military science.
And what? Pause for just a moment, because that's probably a term a lot of people have not heard, but it's like the 101 of ROTC, right?
Yeah.
What is military science?
Basically, what it teaches you the beginning regulations. It teaches you what the uniform is, being at the right place, the right time. It just teaches you the science of what we do, the mission, and the science of it, the art and science of what the military is.
Because the military, it's not an occupation. It is a lifestyle. It is a commitment, right?
It is a lifestyle. A lot of people don't understand that, and it's funny that you brought that up, and I was going to talk about that a little later. For a lot of the veterans that come out of the military, a lot of people don't understand why it is that they struggle so much. And I've been in the military only for 8 years, and I'll tell you, I've been overseas the entire time. This is my...
Which countries, real quick? Pause and tell all these young people out there, this is what you could do in the U.S. military. And she has a cool side gig. I know right now you're in town recruiting, right?
I'm actually the company commander of the recruiting company here.
Right,
yes.
But you've done some
Pretty good.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us which countries you've been to.
Okay, so when I first got into the Army, I went to Hohenfels, Germany. From Germany, I deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. When I came back, because I was working aviation intel, I got a chance to go to Botswana and work with their defense force because they had just got their UAVs, which is unmanned aerial systems, and they wanted us to come down there and help them because I was a platoon leader.
Drones.
Something like that.
Sure.
We had MQ-5 Bravos, which were the hunters. So so we were able to help them and give them some of our information and teach them different ways.
This girl from the islands who immigrated to the United States, and now you are rapid firing. I feel like I'm in an episode of Homeland right now.
He's making me feel so cool right now.
Well, you're pretty darn cool. I think anybody watching can figure that out. You're doing things that only a handful of people get to do. You know things that probably less people that can fit in Memorial Stadium know. What was the other job that you worked in? Because I had a chance to talk to you on the phone during the very, very, very tragic attacks in France, and you had a unique response that I've never heard in my life.
Oh, I said, well, because I'm in the intelligence community, there's a lot of things that I'm able to see and do that I cannot talk about in front of others. But France is our oldest ally. We'll continue to support them in every way possible. But I just think that being branch military intelligence has opened my eyes to things that I've never seen and done before.
Wow.
And things that you can't even talk about. So having my clearance is pretty cool.
No, that is super legit. Like, that is amazing. So, I'm on the phone with the captain, and I say, boy, this is horrible what happened in France. And, I'm following along on Facebook because I don't have a top secret security clearance, and I do not work in military intelligence. I can ask my neighbor. He's pretty smart. He reads like 3 different newspapers a day. But your response was, oh, gosh, yeah, I wish I was back in the intelligence community right now and I'd know what's really going on. Not everybody has that opportunity, so it's very amazing. But there was one key to you getting to do all these cool things. Traveling around the world.
Yes.
Knowing things that few people know. What was it?
Joining the ROTC program. I will say that in the beginning.
In college.
I would say in the beginning, I was the way a lot of people are, very fearful about war and different things that's going on. And then I finally saw the bigger picture, especially after I had that student loan that I'm like, I got to pay this off for the rest of my life. And I said, you know what? I joined the program. Not only did they pay for school, they paid for all my books. They paid for room and board. Every time I travel where I go, the military pays for it. Housing, insurance. I mean, a lot of people don't look at the bigger picture, but I will tell you that I absolutely don't regret it. It's provided for me and my family. I've also had a baby while in the military.
How did that go?
Well,
I have 3 children myself, and we just had a baby boy 2 years ago. We have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old. Hi, Talia. Hi, Eva. Hi, Gurian. And babies are very demanding, and you're a woman in the United States military.
And I will say it wasn't easy. So hi, Aaliyah Rose. Hi, Ali, my college sweetheart. It wasn't easy. I did go to the field. And you don't have to do that stuff. The military does allow you the time to take care of yourself as a person and as a mom, a soon-to-be mom. But they did support me. My command was there. You only work half days. If your boots hurt, you can wear sneakers. But I was out there. I did everything. I had my baby. She's enjoyed the life. She was born in Korea, which was also one of my assignments where I worked aviation intel as well. So it was great.
Aviation intel.
Yes.
Okay, what does that involve? What is the very general, no specifics, but what do you do when you do aviation intel?
Okay, so I'm a military intelligence officer. I'm a 35 Delta, which is an all-source intel, meaning you normally work in a bunker. But for some reason, I've always been placed in aviation units where either I'm flying on an aircraft, doing all kind of cool stuff on the aircraft that I can't speak about, or being in a box where you have unmanned aerial systems, which are aircrafts that are not manned by human beings, but we deal with it from a different box. So there's a lot of things that we're doing in the sky that a lot of people may not know or understand. So aviation intel is pretty awesome. And those reports go pretty high up. They go to the Pentagon and the president. So being intel, I mean, there's other branches in the military, but I will go ahead and push for intel because I'm an intel officer, and I think it is the best thing ever. So.
Well, and like you said, it's giving you a different perspective on life. I mean, that's incredible. You see things from, the more information you have, as we said earlier about education, the greater your perspective on any given issue is.
Yeah.
But you have information that just people can't get.
And
That's awesome.
And I think knowledge is key. I think after being stationed in Korea, dealing with North Korea and South Korea and all the fighting that was going on, I remember times my parents would be calling me because they see missiles up and North Korea's about to shoot us. And I'm sitting down at the food court eating, me and my husband just enjoying ourselves and relaxing because I know what's really going on. I know what just happened that day because of the briefing I had earlier. But everyone's just listening to the news and the media. So you have to read. You have to, knowledge is power, so.
No, it absolutely is. And on that note, like there is a price for freedom, and we have a very powerful military, and we don't worry about things like that. I've never been sitting at my breakfast table and said, "Wow, that's pretty uncomfortable that there are missiles pointed at me that could hit me at a second on a push of a finger." I mean, but that's the security that we have here. I know the world's changing, but largely we don't worry about those things you're talking about.
Exactly.
I've never seen a foreign military plane flying over my head unless it was at an air show.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing. You acknowledged something earlier, though, and I think that young people watching might not be willing to confess this, but you did. You were afraid before you went into the military of the concept of war and the business of the military ultimately.
Yeah, I definitely was. I think joining the ROTC program that I did join, I got to be around a lot of other people my age who were also doing the program, people who had family members in the military, and I got a better understanding of it, and I made it fun, and I enjoyed it, and then I saw the bigger picture. And don't get me wrong, it's natural as a human being to be fearful of anything, but then I had to realize whether I go to war, whether I go to Germany or Korea or Botswana, or whether I walk down the street, life is life and things will happen. But while I do have this life, I'm going to make something of it. And like I told Francis earlier, he's making me realize that I've done a lot of stuff that I don't even sit down and realize sometimes, to the amount of times I've traveled the world, places I've been, things I've seen, and things I've done. And the Army's paid for my education. I mean, I already have my master's at such a young age, and I'm getting ready to go to law school, and the Army's going to pay for that as well. So debt-free,
Are you... And that's wealth. I know folks, they see a BMW and they say that's wealth. Or young people, I think once you get older and you have to pay mortgage insurance and junk like that, then you have a different concept of finances. But when you're young, you think it's material things. But my goodness, the amount of debt that you are avoiding, there are many people who leave graduate school, unfortunately, and this is an argument for saving money and being frugal, with a mortgage-type student loan debt.
Yeah.
And that is a burden. And you're not going to deal.
And what I want a lot of people to understand, I'm not going to have to deal with that. And you got to understand, too, you don't always have to be active duty. There's also the reserves where you can be part-time Army.
Is that what you're going to do when you go to law school?
Well, the Army does have a program. It's called the
Okay.
Funded Legal Education Program. They can send you to law school for 4 years on the Army's dime, and you actually will not be in any uniform. You will be a college student, and the Army's paying for it. And then when you're done, you will support the Army by being a lawyer in their JAG Corps. So, and then and for me, since my time, I've had too much time.
Like a Few Good Men style.
Yeah, yeah. For me, probably what I'll do is I will do probably part-time. Because you have a certain amount of time in the Army to do the funded legal education program. And due to all my traveling and deployments and stuff, I've kind of let my time go by a little bit. But the Army is still going to let me go to that school. I'll just have to do it part-time.
Wow. So. And for the rest of your life, you're going to impress people with your accomplishments. I know you say you don't think of it, but when you walk into a job interview and they're like, "What have you done for the last 10 years?" You're like, "Well, pull up a chair. It'll be a minute." I mean, you are, not only acting in defense of the nation, but making the most of your own potential. And did you think when you were younger that you were an exceptional person?
I always had like high self-esteem, but to be like an officer in the military, a commanding officer, I never expected. I was very shy and cried very fast. So to do what I'm doing right now, I'm a different person. We have a guest coming up
next, by the way, who's from Bakersfield, and we'll find out, if you are tough. So you used to cry a lot?
I was just like a mama's girl. I was like really soft and, really shy. And then the military has like given me that bold, like you're a leader, you're out front. And then when you see your soldiers, I mean, it's a sense of pride too. So I truly appreciate everything the military has done for me. Hopefully one day I'll retire at my 20-year mark. So we'll see how that goes. And I just really appreciate it. When I see my soldiers, there's a big sense of pride, especially when we're standing in formations and doing different things. And when someone walks up to you and shakes your hand and say thank you for your service, that's when it clicks to you like, oh wait, I am not just doing a job. I'm protecting, the lives of everyone in the nation. But you don't see that when you wake up every day. So.
You're making a very exceptional investment in freedom in the United States and my safety. And that's why we can't thank you enough. Those are difficult jobs, and by gum, I'm glad that there are people like you taking them up. Captain, thank you so much for being on the show. We've got to go and pay the bills right now. But when we come back, we're going to check in with a young lady who's also following the path of the captain, and she's getting ready to begin her big global tour. That and much more coming up next on Success and Equity on BCTV.
My greatest struggle right now would be the balance between my school life, my personal life, and also work. Juggling all three, I found it to be very hard and demanding. School is I go to school full-time and also work part-time, so I have little time for myself. I have a girlfriend as well, and so between her, work, and school, my day is pretty much packed all the time, and I have little time to honestly relax. Sometimes I get little sleep because I'm up all night studying. For instance, this week, for instance, is midterm, so last week, all week, Monday through Thursday, I'm up studying. Even on weekends, I have to sacrifice time and stuff like that just to get stuff done and be successful.